everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you. Hope everybody is having an unbelievable week. It has been an unbelievable, rapid, high paced start, not without challenges, but that's a part of the process. Stop running from the challenges. Stop running from adversity. Stop running from the difficult moments. That's where the blessings are. That's where the breakthrough is. That's where the opportunities lie. That's where growth takes place. Please understand that that can never be the attainment of a prize or a promise without that first being an endurance of a process. Be prepared to go through the process. Embrace the process. Process always precedes promise and prizes. So stop balking at the challenges and start standing up and facing them. Look, I'm not going to be long this morning. First, I want to remind everybody, if you haven't joined the if you haven't joined the um, if you haven't joined the Epic Ram community of high achievers, you definitely want to do that now. We're kicking it off. We're going to have our first Q&A on this Saturday at noon CST. You want to be a part of that. You want to be a part of this growing networking community of achievers and aspiring achievers. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about what it means for 2022 and the people who are ready to make their lives epic. And I mean that in every stretch of your imagination. Whatever you need to know about Epic Ram and the community that I've created, the network and circle builders and the breakout rooms and groups that are within it that help you deal with everything from mental health, relationships, finance, entrepreneurship, and everything else that are going to be a part of this huge community is in the description box. Read it if you want to be a part of it. Join. We're going to turn 2022 on its heels. We're leaving nothing behind in 2022. I promise you that. We're going to go out and get it. Also, my branding consultant, my PR consultant, won't let me give away any more platinum packages, but if you sign up today, you will get a free rapid change breakthrough session. That's one session with yours truly, a $350 value if you sign up today. So do that. Look, I'm not going to be with you long. I've got a client to get to in about 12 minutes. And I just want to talk to you a bit. People have a tendency of seeing things one way, and it normally causes problems because they don't understand the totality of a principle. Now, there's a biblical scripture in the oldest book recognized in the sense of when it was written of the Bible, which is Job. And it says, you shall declare a thing and it shall be established. I'm not going to get into the theology of that. I'm not going to get into the theology of it. I'm going to get into the psychological, sociological, and expressive principles of it because it applies to whether or not you hold the same beliefs as those who give reverence or revere that particular book. So much to learn in it, but regardless to where you feel about it, you shall declare a thing and it shall be established. Now, we know now scientifically that your speech has power. Your self-talk sets the stage, that your thoughts are the seeds of your destiny. Your words are the expressive measure of what you're thinking. And therefore, you speak out of the abundance of what you're thinking in your subconscious, or in the Bible, it says, that you speak out of the abundance of your heart. Well, the heart is the subconscious, the seed, or the seat of the soul. And so now we know that you literally set the course of your life by your thoughts and your speech. So you can literally declare something and it is established. Now, when most people think of this, especially religious people who give credence to the Bible, the first thing that they think is, I can speak things of power and I'll have them. I can think, and that's exactly what you should be understanding. You declare something in your life, but what you got to understand that the principle is always active. It doesn't just activate on the positive realm. It doesn't just activate when you speak positive. It activates and it stays activated. So when you're speaking negative, when you're speaking things that you see rather than things that you are commanding, demanding, or that you have the power to declare, you're literally declaring what you see and you're giving it power. And therefore, the thing you declare becomes established. Once it becomes established, it begins to manifest itself and become reality. You have to understand, stop speaking your circumstances. Stop speaking your fears. Stop speaking your anxiety. Stop speaking your worries. Stop speaking the things that you don't want, because whatever you focus on, you will feel. Whatever you focus on, you give power to. So what do? You sit up, and people ask me all the time. I've told you this many times. It's not that I have circumvented the struggles of life. There are some people who I hold dear to me know that right now is a very challenging time for me. There's a bunch going on because why? I demand much of myself. I could find a place and coast and be very good, but that's not what I want for my life. That's not the legacy I want to leave behind. So because I am constantly pushing to be better in every area of my life, I'm constantly pushing to make others better around me, I'm always facing challenges. And sometimes it can be unbelievably pressing. And they know me, but what they'll tell you is that it doesn't shut me down. It doesn't stop me. It doesn't turn me off. It doesn't cause me to retreat. I refuse to fold. And people will ask me, how in the world are you possibly acting the way you're acting when all of this is going on in your life? See, that's the problem. You're giving problem to your circumstances. I don't give power to my circumstances. I speak power. I walk power. I live power. Let me tell you what I mean by that. See, there's something inside of me, the spiritual part of me, that's connected to the divine nature of God and unleashes the God in me. And therefore, I understand I'm never trapped in anything I don't want to be in. I'm never held captive by any dark moment. My circumstances are temporary. So when I am in a place where my circumstances don't align with my desires, I simply consult my spirit. And when I consult my spirit, my spirit is in direct communication with the God mind, the God body, the fullness of God. And God communicates to my spirit that what I'm looking at is temporary and it cannot hold me back. And therefore, my spirit disagrees with my circumstances. And therefore, I speak not as I see, but as I believe and as I hold to be true what's coming in the future. I tell people all the time, I operate in the moment, but I live in the future. That's why you see me smiling, because no matter what's going on now, it's gravy and great in the future, because I know coming out of the storm, there's a blessing waiting on me. There's something that's gonna be, and it ain't always monetary. It's not always material. Sometimes I come out and the blessing is that I have a greater peace. I have a greater understanding. I have a greater clarity and sense of purpose. I'm more connected to my vision. I've touched lives. I've changed situations for other people. Money becomes a secondary or ancillary benefit to being in line with what I'm built to do. Stop declaring your circumstances and the negative things. Stop declaring your fears. Stop declaring those things you are worried about and anxious about. Start declaring that thing that you know you deserve. Start declaring what your work will produce. Start declaring something that you can put your foot on and be proud of and hold your head up for, because that will shift the entire atmosphere that you're operating in. When I was in seminary studying and pursuing my doctorate in theology, one of two doctorates I hold, I became almost enamored with John Wesley, who is known as the father of the Methodist movement. And I picked up a bunch of practices from John Wesley. When he was developing into his faith, he decided he would read 100 books of empowering and spiritual, of a spiritual nature in a year. And so from that point on, which was over 20 something years ago, I've read 100 books a year, and it can be done. It can definitely be done, but it requires a prioritization of your life, what's important to you. But that wasn't the only thing. Wesley also said, give me 100 men who fear nothing but God and hate nothing but sin, and we'll change the world. This is the man who changed the world. He literally was called the Renaissance man. He was the one who reignited. He is the one who reignited the force and the spirituality. Christianity was on a downturn when Wesley came. He's known as the great revivalist. He brought it back. 100 men who fear nothing but God and hate nothing but sin. And that is exactly what happened. He changed the world. But that was another thing. He had this ongoing debate and discussion with John Whitefield, who was in the US while Wesley was in England. And they would exchange letters and they would debate the philosophical and theological concepts of the doctrine of election. And, you know, I'm not going to get into that, but I'm going to tell you that one time Wesley wrote Whitefield and told him he was struggling with his faith and he didn't know what to do. And Whitefield responded very succinctly, but very powerfully. And it has stuck with me in my mind for years now. He said, preach faith until you have faith. Let me say that again. Preach faith until you have faith. Sometimes you got to talk yourself into it. Sometimes you got to keep talking and speaking it until your soul receives it. That's the power of your word. Stop declaring the negative. Start declaring the positive. Don't stop declaring it until you are able to walk in it. I'm telling you that you can't speak negative and live positive. Your circumstances shouldn't have a hold of you. Your circumstances should be responding to you. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to get off of here because I done got off on another tangent and I know I got to get to this client in 2 minutes. Look, I just posted something and this is no shot at anybody's faith. This is about principle, practice, and application. One thing that frustrated me when I was at the head, function as a leader in the church, one of the things that frustrated me is to look around me at colleagues and contemporaries and peers and see that many of them were able to preach their constituents or their parishioners or their members or whatever you wanted to call them, depending on what type of situation you had. They were able to preach them into an emotional frenzy. I'm talking about specifically my people right now, able to preach them into an emotional frenzy. But what I found is I was dealing with a lot of them in my office as a psychologist, as a therapist, as a consultant. And what I found is they were being preached into an emotional frenzy on Sunday. Then they were being sent out into a world that was hostile to them on Monday, but they hadn't really been prepared to go out. They weren't given anything to fight for. They had just been electrified emotionally. And so they had this charge and they felt good. It felt powerful, but they weren't given any substance from which they could fight when the battle started. So when they got out there, it became overwhelming. And by Tuesday, they were simply just looking forward to getting back in the church to get another dose of the emotional charge, but they weren't getting anything to fight for. See, you were being preached into an emotional frenzy, but you weren't giving anything or any power to even kick a pebble. And now you got a mountain in front of you and all you know how to do is shout. You were emotional. Absolutely, James. You were emotionally, but you weren't empowered. I don't got a problem with your emotions because emotions have purpose and place. But I'm telling you, if you don't have something that's full of substance that you can take hold to, that you can apply when things become over pressure and intense, you're going to fold and you're going to have I'm telling you now, just take this one principle. Speak it as you desire it to be. You shall declare a thing and it shall be established. The problem is a bunch of y'all are declaring the wrong thing. On that note, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Like I said, if you want to turn 2022 upside down, read the information on this membership for the Epic Realm community, because we're taking what belongs to us in 2022. We're not accepting crumbs. We're not accepting negativity. We're not accepting poverty as our lot in life, suffering as our lot in life, working a 9-to-5 that we hate as our lot in life. We're going out and getting what's ours, and we're going to do it through persistent practices that God has established in this universe that works no matter what, and we are going to win. This is your year to win, but you're going to have to come. You're going to have to come with it. I challenge you to make this your year. I got to get off of here because I'm going to be in trouble with my client. But hey, you guys have an unbelievable day. As I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on my challenges that you do the same. On that note, I'm out.